What's up, Carol Nation? Welcome to episode 10 of PSPN The Pod. I am here with Pokemon Professor Victor Gutierrez, and he's my local Pokemon professor, but I just said that. So, really happy to have him. Gonna talk a lot about the new series coming out, how it's gonna affect the TCG, his experiences with Pokemon as a professor, how excited he is that his son has made it to, Pokemon World?
Yep, he has qualified to play in London this year in August for the World Championship.
Super exciting. We blew like 10 minutes of material talking before we got started, so we're like, you know what? Let's fire up the mic and let's see what happens. So, Victor, say hello.
Hey, everybody. We're very happy to be here on this podcast.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell us about your experience and your road leading up to you becoming a professor.
All right, so the funny thing is, I actually quit card games, and I didn't want to do them anymore. And this card shop heard that I used to help with Pokemon, and they wanted a little bit of help, moving forward. And I told them that, I'd do the best I could for them. I was currently trying to get into the Dragon Ball Super card game during that time, which was a really fun game. It was the Panini version of it. Mm-hmm. So it's just like 5 different Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super card games. And, I told them I'd go online, take the test, because I used to be a professor back in the past. I've always been on and off playing Pokemon. Life. You grow up, you have kids, you get married. Priorities have to change.
Right.
So I went through that process with them, and I actually became a professor. I wanted to help them out, but the more I helped with it, the more fun it was for me. Like some people, they love playing the game. They love, competing and everything like that. And that used to be the thing that I loved. Mm-hmm. But then it became watching all the people who never even played the card game coming out, growing with it. That was it was an adrenaline rush for me.
Oh yeah.
To come out, and the very first event I ran, there was like 6 to 8 people. Where weeks later, I was having like 20 to 30 people tournaments, and like all new players wanting to know how to play the game, wanting to get into it as much as possible. That was just fantastic for me. I loved it. I loved seeing people come out there, and then it eventually became a job. So they were like, "Hey, you know what? We want to hire you. And we're going to give you all the back pay." And I was like, really? Like, yeah, you've been helping us for a month. You're usually here for 4 hours, so we're going to give you 4 hours for each one, and we want to hire you, to come down and help with it. And from there, I kept up with Pokemon, with the support of my wife, of course. I can't do it without
shout out.
Can't do it without the support of her, of me going out there. And it just continued. I started the league when Fates Collide came out. So
okay. Oh, wow, that's a while back.
Yeah, it was a while back. That's when Mega Alakazam came out, and that's also why I wanted to, because Alakazam's like my favorite Psychic-type Pokemon.
Nice.
I actually took that to the San Jose Regionals. I think I did pretty well. I played against Israel Sosa. We ended up tying. He called me Spoons. That was a pretty cool feeling, because I had no idea who he was. Like, all my friends were like freaking out, and I'm like, what's up? I don't get what's going on. And I was talking to him, and then I looked at his name, Israel Sosa. I'm like, I heard that from somewhere. I'm like, oh my God, that guy won like 3 regionals in a row. And he was like, oh, like, chill, we're cool. We ended up playing it. We ended up tying. I had the win on game 3, but we just didn't have the time for it. Now, I was a little starstruck too.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool, because he was, at that time, considered the best Dark player in the world. He actually made, if I remember at that time, Yveltal EX, a big deck. So it was pretty cool.
Let me make a note on that. The people in the Pokemon community are so freaking cool, so approachable, so easy to talk to that, like he didn't know who he was, a big time player, and the guy was super casual about it, super nice and super approachable, right?
Yes, yeah, that's like one of the cool things about the community. That they just want more people to play. They like talking to you. They don't think. Don't get me wrong, there are a few bad apples, but that's for any hobby you do.
Of course.
But most people are very encouraging and trying to get you into the game. If you don't know what's going on, most people won't be jerks. Like, hey, just so you know, next time we play, try doing this. If you're a 100% new player, I've seen this plenty of times. A big shout out to Gage Swift, because I've seen him do this plenty of times in tournaments where you go for points, where he'll be like, hey, you know what? Take that back. Try this instead. That's going to be a better play for you to do. I've seen him specifically do that multiple times to help out new players getting into the game.
Really?
And when I seen him do that 3 years ago, other players started doing that for new players as well. So that way, yes, we're all trying to win something, but in the end, we want better players. We want people who
better
understand.
Competition.
Yeah, better competition. That makes us better as a whole. And, if that's not your thing, I want to play casually. I want to play my way. That is perfectly fine. If you want to be competitive, we'll help you be competitive too. Whatever is fun for you is how you should play the game. And that's what the community does now. We want you to enjoy the game for yourself.
That's great, man. Well, yeah, I mean, the first time I came out to play Pokemon, that's where I met you, and you were super helpful. Everybody there was super helpful in helping me build my pre-release deck, how to play, how to do the rules, and I loved it. Every time I didn't get to catch the new one, But every time there's a pre-release, I always try to make it back because of you, I got into wanting to play. Not competitively because I don't have the time for it, but to play Pokemon, to go to the pre-releases, to catch you every time I see you and chop it up and see what's new and see what's happening with the Pokemon. So it's really nice to have you, man. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, and then your first pre-release, you came to my X and Y when Evolution came out, right?
Yeah.
Pre-release. Yeah. So that was actually the very first pre-release I ran, and actually we're supposed to only get 2 kits for only 16 players, but I actually asked Pokemon, hey, I'm still new to this. We have a big community, and they're like, you know what? Take 4 kits instead. So we were able to fill for 32 players. And we still didn't have enough for all the players. And a big thing for anyone that goes to a pre-release, if they run out of kits, it is not the store's fault. Pokemon allocates how many kits we're allowed to have. So if they tell us 8 kits, we can't order any more than 8 kits. That is the maximum we're allowed to have for that release.
Okay.
We would love to order more than that as an example. It just doesn't work like that.
Okay, guys, pay attention to that. So don't get all pissed off at the store when they don't have enough kits for you people, right? They're just working there. They're not the ones distributing them.
Yeah, and almost every store does do pre-registration. Now, I understand, pre-registering a month and a half of time, it's pretty far. But it's there so that way you have an opportunity to have your spot. I've had plenty of people, I've actually had someone spit at me. One time because banned. like that are mad. Like, why don't you have enough? I'm like, hey, I've had pre-registration up for a month and a half. There's been plenty of opportunities. We do a reminder post every week to give you the opportunity to get your spot. And if that day if I'm out or you weren't the first one in the line for any additionals I have, there's literally nothing I can do for you.
Right. Have you seen other people pop up doing midnight pre-releases? You guys are the only ones I've seen that do that.
So we were the main ones to do pre-releases, and a few things ended up happening in life. So I actually walked away from Pokemon for maybe about 9 months. But Adam Higgins, he actually is the Pokemon Professor at Crazy Squirrel. He actually does the midnight releases now for Pokemon players, which is geared towards the adults to go out.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to continue doing midnight releases, but I'm actually more kid oriented now since my son plays.
Right.
And so for kids, since my league is focused on kids, all I usually get are Poke parents and just a bunch of kids from the range of like 6 to 14. So doing a midnight release doesn't cater to them. So most of my pre-releases now are on Saturdays, usually about 12 o'clock. So that way it's a perfect timing, it's accessible to the parents. And Adam Higgins at Crazy Squirrel runs his midnight releases, which works great for all the adults who work during the weekend, and that gives them the opportunity to do a pre-release. And then, of course, still go to day to day. Because our job's usually not going to give you time off. Oh, I want to go play Pokemon. Yeah, I'm sorry. If you don't show up, you're fired.
Yeah. I've been in that situation too. It's like, why are you late? Pokemon?
Yeah. The cool part about me is that's what I do.
That's your job. That is your job. Yeah. If you don't
I do other work, of course, besides just Pokemon. I'm an SLS worker. I'm an ILS worker. So I help people with disabilities or learning disabilities. But yeah, the other half is Pokemon.
Right.
Kind of cool.
That is awesome. And you mentioned, your son. We'll talk more about your son right now. Tell me more about the program that we talked about that you have with kids.
Oh yeah, so my Pokemon League is geared towards kids. So almost every Pokemon League, which is totally viable, is a tournament-based store. So that means when you go there, you're going to pay an entry fee. Most tournaments have 2 formats. Most players here in Fresno and Clovis, we're going to be playing the standard format. A few will do expanded from time to time, but standard is the easiest one to get into, and that's where all the big competitions are going to be playing. So it's the best one to practice. So if you're a new player, it's a little difficult for a professor to give you one-on-one time because they're running the event.
Right.
So a lot of the professors actually let them know about my league. My league is a free play league. So before, I used to be totally tournament based, but it wasn't very good for casual players or people just getting into the game.
Right.
So since I have free play, that means you can come and play against anyone you want to. You can practice against anyone you want to. If you're new, that gives me a chance to sit down, play with you. I carry like 10 to 12 decks on me all the time, so that way I can gauge what level you are. I'll check to see where you're at. I'll look at your deck and I'll choose something that I think is a little weaker than what that is. That way I can see what your decision making skills and things are. And all the other players do almost the same thing. They'll see, okay, you're a new player. A lot of my Poke parents, my Poke dads and Pokemons have 2 to 3 decks to help new players if I'm too busy.
Oh, so cool.
And that also gives me the chance, if you're 100% new and you're trying to lose a game and learn the game and you're trying to go to a tournament based league, they will probably do their best to give you assistance in learning the game, but they probably don't have the time to do a really nice one-on-one. They might reference you to a YouTube video or PTCGO, but at my store, I've taught like 4 people at the exact same time. I have decks specifically to teach you how to play the game. Very basic decks. After that, we move on to a starter deck. And then we see how they feel about the game. Some people really want to get into the game after that. That was so fun. Some people realize it's not the game for me. And you know what? That is perfectly okay too. Pokemon won't be for everybody. But I do my best to make sure that your experience for the game is great. And also, you're going to win your first game. Because your first game is going to be against me. And we're going to make that happen every time for you.
Right.
Because, there's nothing better than that feeling like, oh my God, I just beat the professor who's been playing this game since like 1999. This is going to be great.
With one arm tied behind your
back.
With
one arm tied behind my back, yes.
And how's the turnout with kids?
My turnout with kids, so the thing with kids is, so I have a good 22 kids that rotate through my Pokemon League. But kids do not have control of their schedules. Right. So I have some kids that I see every weekend. Actually, there's some kids that because I became great friends with their parents. So I see 2-3 times a week, sometimes more. And those are little kids that are the most frequent ones that come out that want to be a little bit more competitive. Some kids I see maybe twice a month. Some kids I see once every month or 2, but they come out when they can. So they do their best to come out and come and play. And you know what? That's perfectly okay because I get it. Your parents have things to do. Kids aren't in charge of their schedule. And whenever they come, I still try to sound excited as I can. I want to see what they've been doing. I usually give them some type of material. So if they don't see me for a while, at least they can reference it. And, try to keep up with the game as much as they possibly can. Some can't. And you know what? That's understandable. They come back. They have to relearn the game or a good few components, and that's still okay.
Or the new mechanics of the new set that just drops
or they have to remember some of the old mechanics. They'll forget, I can't evolve turn 1, or how many energies can I put on?
Right.
I'll teach them, and they'll remember right there. But, unless you're actively playing with someone at home, you're going to forget a month later. Right. And they'll come back, and I'll reteach them. I'll reteach them every single time, as long as I have the time, which, Legends, Comics and Games is usually really good at, you know what, Victor, we're not busy at the register. Go sit down and help. I would say like a good 70% of my day is just sitting down and helping people, and it's great that Legends, I'm on the clock, I'm helping them out. Now, if the store gets too busy, they're like, hey, give us a hand for a bit. But they know that I'm there to make sure that the community and the new players are, having a good time. But I would say on a regular day, there's at least 8 to 12 kids that fluctuate through the store. Some kids stay for half an hour. The parents have a limited amount of time. They come in, they just play a few games, and they're gone. And some kids will show up at 12 o'clock, and they won't leave until I leave. And they'll be there for like 5 hours. Oh, wow. I have some of the older kids now with, and I've talked to the parents. I'm not a daycare. Yeah. But some of the kids, they're a little bit older, 9, 10. I've seen them for a parent. Some parents are like, hey, is it okay if I just leave them for an hour or two? Then that's fine. I've had one where I'm like, I'm sorry, but your child's not well behaved enough to be here by themselves. And the parent got upset, but I have to explain to them that, I still have a job, He was like, well, your son is here. I'm like, yeah, my son is 6, but he comes to work with me every time I work there. He knows how he's supposed to behave. Mm-hmm. He's actually out there helping other players that are much older than him. I mean, he just does his best to make sure he's, I can't think of the word, the person that they look up to, the person that, he wants to be a role model. Okay, that's the word I'm thinking of right there. He's trying to be a role model. Now, he's still 6, so he does get rambunctious from time to time. But he does his best to do that, and I explain that to the parents. Yes, he's 6 and he's younger than your son, but he's been here long enough. And, and that parent, after we had an adult conversation about the situation, they were like, you know what, that's fine. I'm going to talk to my kid. And after a month and a half, now that kid can stay.
That's great, yeah. And it's great that they were responsible and an adult about it.
Oh, yeah. And then I always tell the parents, I'm like, you also have to be comfortable with me having your phone number. Because if anything happened, nothing has happened, of course, but you never know if there's going to be some type of situation that happens. Right. So that way I can contact the parent. Hey, this is going on. Maybe you need to pick them up. Or something weird's going on in the store. Right. It's never happened, but you can never be too safe, especially as a parent.
Right, and bottom line, you are running a business. Your job comes first. So, but that's really awesome. That's really good to hear that the inner workings of the behind closed doors. Of the community, and I'm pretty sure it's very hectic running all these different tournaments, keeping tabs on all the different events going on, and still being able to manage to take time with kids because kids are difficult.
Yeah, and then that's kind of the throw off for some of the masters. So in Pokemon, let me break this down real quick. There's 3 divisions. There are junior division players, which are people who are mainly kids, all kids, 6 to 10 years old. Senior division is 10 to 15, and masters, which are mainly adults, are 15 and older. The biggest issue I have with running a league that's geared towards juniors and seniors, remember, masters are allowed to come here, is it can be very loud in there, and, they are kids. So, most adults are like, I don't want to, have to deal with this, which is understandable. I get it. It's your time off. You don't want to hear a bunch of kids. They're usually pretty good, but after, an hour or two, they get a little rambunctious. And, for me, it does work. I'm very kid friendly. And recently, we've actually came up with other activities to do with the kids. So that way, after they're playing card games, their attention spans are a little different than ours. I can sit down, I can play test or go to a tournament 8-10 hours, no problem.
Check your emails while you're in between rounds.
But for kids now, we've come up with activity sheets. Pokemon's actually releasing a program called Pokemon Club. So I run Pokemon Leagues. Pokemon Club is specifically geared towards kids who are 6 to 10. So they're actually giving us extra activity sheets. Crossword puzzles, mazes, that we all print out. Yeah. They actually get promos that only kids that are 6 to 10 can also get after completing scenarios. Ooh. So I actually do my own, learn to play, but Pokemon's actually sending us booklets and papers where, here's a scenario, how do you win this turn, as an example. And so the kids go through that, and, there's levels to it. So as the kids learn the scenarios, they get better at the game as well, which is amazing to have. And alongside that, we've also been very popular with Sword and Shield since it's on the Switch. And every kid nowadays has a Switch. Yeah. It wasn't like that when I was a kid. Not every kid had a Game Boy. But every kid has a Switch now, and they have the game. So now, what a lot of our kids are doing, they'll play 2-3 matches, and then they'll play Sword and Shield, which is officially okayed since we're also TCG and VGC. Okay. So they'll go on the game for a while. And I always let them know, hey, just make sure you're playing Sword or Shield on it. Try not to play any other type of video game. That way, we're at least doing something that's Pokemon related. And then when they're done with that, they'll do a raid or two, or do a little bit of shiny hunting. And then they'll play the TCG again, or they'll do some activity sheets. Or, they'll actually, the kids like to throw like random Pokemon things at me or questions, and I do my best to answer them. Yeah. They try throwing me a curveball too, but it's never too bad. So that keeps them in line, and hopefully with that going on, that might have other masters coming. But the fact that since I don't normally run a tournament, it's kind of a draw off for adults because they want to win stuff. Right. But the kids, they just want to have fun. They just want to have. Now, don't get me wrong. When they hear tournament, they get excited. The competitive ones, the competitive kids. A casual kid gets a little scared because they don't want to spend money to win nothing. And we do our best to make sure for the kids, everybody walks away with something, but not every parent wants to spend $5 for the kid to get 1 pack when they could buy like 2 packs for that amount. Right.
That's good. It gives an option. You have your other professors. Okay, you want to be a master. You want to dedicate yourself more to the competitive aspect. Cool. Head over to this professor over here. But you have like us parents growing up. Pokemon is our thing, and we see our kids, like with my daughter, we do pack openings on YouTube now, so she's beginning to gain interest.
That's legit.
Where do I take her to learn Pokemon? Like, where do I take, Victor does this thing at Legends that he takes the time to teach kids. Okay, I want to go there. I want to have my kid learn there. And that's nice for people that may not have these experiences elsewhere, that we can have that here, that you can be available to kids to learn. I mean, you got to start somewhere.
Yeah,
you know what definitely. I mean. And that's a great place to start. A very constructive, very controlled environment, specifically catered for them.
Exactly. And another big thing about having a kid is I mentioned it earlier during the podcast. Poke parents. So almost every adult that comes through does end up playing Pokemon as well if they have a kid. And most of them are like, oh no, I'm just here for them, and they actually eventually get into it. I actually have some parents that are more into the card game than their kids now.
Really?
Which is great. I love it. We have some parents that are getting more into the competitive scene. That's perfectly fine. We have some parents that they just like making dorky little decks, for their own play style. Yeah. And I love it. I love them not trying to get competitive, and they want to try something new and fun and makes their kids happy. And that also gives the opportunity for the kid to go home and play with their parent. Right. And that they experience the game together. Then I'll get a question. Hey, what's the ruling on this versus this? And, I get to it as fast as I can. But, I do other things outside of it. But I think I'm pretty good at catching on and helping them out with it as well. But no, it's great that a lot of these kids have the support of their parents. And a lot of parents, after being there for, a week or two, they get into it as well. And in the beginning, some parents were like, trying to stay for it. But the more parents that I get that play the game, the more the other parents want to play too. Right. Because it gives them something to do. If you're going to be there for 2 hours watching your kids, they eventually start playing as well too. And I think that's fantastic. I think the kids seeing their parents play makes them want to do it more.
Right.
And yeah, and it's totally true. I mean, if my dad was insistent back when I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh, I probably would have been more into it. As a matter of fact, my mom did her best to get into Yu-Gi-Oh. Now, was she very confused and couldn't really play at all? Yeah, but I built her a deck, and she'd sit down, do her best to play with me. And you know what? That got me excited. And, that made me happy.
Of course, yeah. I mean, they don't have to be good players. It's just spending time doing something with you that you enjoy.
Exactly. And you know what? That's the time of day that I want to get to my son. I mean, even my 4-year-old's been trying to play the game too. And he's 4. He doesn't know how to read.
Wow.
He wants a Pikachu deck. So, and he knows how to draw. He knows how to move cards. He can't shuffle because he's 4 and his hands are super tiny.
That's so adorable. Just picture.
Yeah, and after 10 minutes, he's done. He's like, no, I'm done that. I'm like, okay, that's fine, son.
It's a start.
It's a start. But you know what? He does like the game. He's jealous of his brother, but he can't hold out. But you know what? He loves it when he goes, Dad, want to play? And go, and I'll set him up. We'll sit down. We'll have our time. And then, of course, we do other stuff. We'll sit down. We'll watch Disney Plus. He likes watching the Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Oh, yeah.
And we'll sing Hot Dog together. And then he'll be like, Dad, I want to play Pokemon. And then he'll do his own thing. And that's fine. As long as I'm getting a connection with him. And I feel for a lot of parents, and a lot of parents I've met, you can tell that sometimes, they don't have the best relationship. But there's still, a son and father, or, son and mother. But when you see them play Pokemon together, you can see the expression in the kid's face that they don't get to do a lot of one-on-one stuff. Mm-hmm. They might just sit down, which is terrible, and watch TV. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. But being able to do some type of interaction, I think that is so nice.
Much more meaningful.
Yeah, it makes such a big difference.
Yeah.
I mean, with my son, I won't lie, we could have did things a little bit better. We played video games together, but all we usually did was sit down and watch TV together. Mm-hmm. But one day when I was playing Pokemon, he goes, Dad, can I play too? And he was 5.5. I'm like, I don't think you can play it, son. He was like, I want to try. And he has cleft lip, so it was still difficult to understand him. It still is. Mm-hmm. So he was in his speech classes. So I'm like, you know what, son, we're gonna try. So I think one card you probably remember is Guzzler GX.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay. So Guzzler GX was one of the during the pre-release you would put one Guzzlord and 39 energies into the deck. Yeah. And you were set. So he actually really liked the Pokemon Guzzlord, and I was like, let's build you that deck. So we built a standard deck of 59 energies and one Guzzlord, and he couldn't read at this time. Like he was pretty behind in school. His teacher told him, you are the most behind, and it made us a little sad. But he was deaf for like a year and a half. He actually had a lot of trouble, with his birth defect growing up. And so what I taught him was just memorize what the card did. He couldn't read it, but I told him, you need to do this and do this when this happens. So we gave him situations on when to do things, and I got him to repeat how to do the attacks, like eat gluttony, and everything like that. And then once he got used to the card, we took out 3 dark energies and we put in 3 more Guzzler GXs.
Okay.
And then once he understood how those work, we put in Nest Ball. Nest Ball was very simple. Play the card, search your deck for a basic Pokemon, put it on your bench. And so we would spend like 30 minutes understanding how the card would work. And once he understood it, then we put 4 in his deck. And so that way when he drew the card, even though he couldn't read it, he knew the card's name was Nest Ball and what it did.
Right.
And we just continuously did it. And then eventually he actually had a fairly competitive deck, which he actually took to Santa Clara last year, May, where he was still having some difficulty reading in the cards, but he knew how to play the deck. He actually made top 32.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, for his first regional events. We were like,
and not knowing how to read.
And not knowing how to read, so his difficulty was understanding what his opponent was doing. But he still had a great time. All the professors there were very nice to him. He was the youngest kid. He was still 5.5 during that time. Well, close to 6, but he still was technically 5. And the second youngest kid there was 8.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he went there. He did his thing. And, I was so proud of him. Like, he could have won some more matches. Round 1, we were so used to playing best of 1 that he didn't realize, like, after he lost his first game, he thought that was done and he walked away. So he forfeited. He didn't realize that. And he was like, oh, Dad, I didn't know that. And so, he was still a 5-year-old kid. But, doing that was just incredibly great for him. And, yeah, and that's how he started going. Then, once he started getting better at reading, then he read the Pokemon cards. And then our teacher was like, hey, his reading's going higher and higher and higher. And they eventually told us, now he's in first grade, now he's in the advanced reading program. He got the mathematic awards for his classroom. He's almost done with speech. Like the speech teacher, like all the goals that he was supposed to hit by the end of the year, he hit at the halfway mark. And they told us, like, if he continues like this, he will be in the GATE program when he's in 4th grade, which is great because they don't start it, I guess, in Clovis till that time. And he'll be done with speech maybe before even the 2nd grade starts, which is great. That's something incredibly great to hear as a parent, to know that your kid was behind, but now they're one of the kids that are the most ahead in the classroom. And that's fantastic.
Yeah,
and a big part of, don't get me wrong, like, it's more than just Pokemon. It's also the teachers putting it up. But all the teachers and the meetings we have to do for our IEP all admit that they believe Pokemon is a big part of why Eren has been advancing so well.
Of course, he loves it. So he's going to try harder to make it understand. And in trying, he's learning English because he's needing to learn.
Exactly.
He's learning math because he's needing to know, okay, I'm going to flip it 2 times and then times 10 for each one. Boom, there's your math right there.
Fantastic. Let's not forget, it also increases your critical thinking skills as well. So as you're sitting there, you're trying to think of the best play. And so the kids, like my son will sometimes sit there for like 20 seconds trying to understand what would be the best thing for him. And in doing so, critical thinking skills are growing up. And they've proven that, the correct card game can be just as effective as a kid who learns how to play chess early. It's just fantastic for you.
You're learning strategy. You're learning what you're going to do and trying to figure out what your opponent's going to do. So, you're trying to stay one step ahead, one step behind, one step, be ahead of yourself. It's that your mind's always moving. You're reading, you're doing math, you're trying to figure out what goes where and how, and with the order of things. Not to mention patience.
Yeah, and he's done so well. I mean, I was super proud of him. I think it was about a month ago. We was playing a tournament in Hanford. He took second. He took second at that tournament, which was fantastic. He always wants to take first, but he understands now that if you top 4, you get points to qualify for the World Championship. And after that event was done, he got his invite to actually play in London and be one of the Americans that get to go. And he'll probably still be one of the youngest kids there. His birthday will happen before London, so he'll actually be a 7-year-old playing in London. Being kind of like a part of the American team. I think that's super cool. He'll go there. He'll play kids across the world that happen to show up there where they don't even speak the same language. There's translators there. So that way, and then the coolest part is the kids can communicate by playing cards.
Right.
Like, I don't have to understand you because I know what that card does in English and vice versa. And I think that's super amazing to experience that as a kid that's his age.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Especially with Pokemon.
Oh, yeah. I mean, when I was 6-year-old, I was working in the fields. I was after my mom had to wake us up. We needed money, and I never saw any of that, and that's fine. I was just picking weeds, and I grew up doing that. It's fantastic. My son has an opportunity to understand the value of money, how to make better friendships, make lasting friendships, and have the opportunity to, to travel, and get invited to something that's as incredible as that. I mean, I remember his teacher did like a little party thing for him, like, oh my God, like Eren Pokemon invited you to play at the World Championships in London. That's so cool. And that's something you have to get invited to. You can't just show up and play. Pokemon has to be like, hey, you did well enough during the year to qualify. And we just hit the halfway mark. We're barely going to start quarter 3. Actually, we start quarter 3, I believe, February 22nd. So we're not even at the halfway mark technically, and we got qualified there. Oh, wow. But he's helping a bunch of the other kids qualify too. So they play test because right now we have 2 kids. We have Eren and we have Eren. So there's another kid who's his best friend who's named Eren. We call him Junior, whose dad is named Eren. So my son will go, Eren.
Eren Aaron.
Yeah. And actually we have a guy, another adult, we call him Aaron. Our Pokemon League has 5 different Erens that show up, but I believe all their names are spelled differently. So I think that's
funny.
But right now, both of the boys are qualified for Worlds. I believe to make Worlds, you need about 350 points. My son's at 361, and I believe Junior, he's a little bit more advanced. I said they're a year apart, but they fight a lot, but they're also great friends. Right. It's very interesting to watch because, when you're 6, 7 years old, you make up your own rules and no one wants to follow your rules. We're going to fight about it. I believe his son's a little bit over 400 points right now. But yeah, no, it's super cool that they're qualified, and they've actually helped grow the junior community. And now we have a few other kids, Ryan, we have Kyan, and we have our newest member, Ralphie. He just started recently, and they're all going to be trying to. We're all going to go to Santa Clara together. We're going to play at that regionals, and they're all doing their best to actually qualify for the World Championship. And I think all those kids can, and we're still continuously having some of the other kids start thinking, you know what, maybe I want to try that too, because as a kid, when you see other people doing it or other kids doing it, that's something you want to do.
Of course, yeah. And I'm actually I'm gonna be at Santa Clara too, so I'm gonna be covering the event.
Oh, you're gonna actually be at Santa Clara?
Yeah, I'm gonna be there, so I'll catch up with you there. I'll catch up with your son and the other kids, and we can do a podcast episode for them.
Yeah, that'd be great. You'll be interviewing the Ultra. So the two original kids, Junior and Eren, they both played Ultra Beast Pokemon decks. That was their first decks. Eren played Guzzlord. Junior played Clowns. Polyphalon. I can't say the name correctly, but
the lollipop?
The lollipop king. That's what I called him when I first saw him. That's actually was their both respected decks, and it's funny because as they kept playing, they kept building counters to each other.
Right.
But if you ever watched the Sun and Moon show, Ash and his friends become the Ultra Guardians, and so they actually go around catching all the Ultra Beasts, and they're like Power Rangers. Like they go on, a costume goes over them.
Really, I haven't catched it.
You gotta check it out. It's the coolest thing. And so their team, which we're trying to get like gear for them towards the end of February, towards the beginning of March. But they call themselves the Ultra Guardian. We're trying to get them custom play mats, T-shirts, so that when we go to Santa Clara, they're their own little team. And the biggest thing is there's no real kid team. I think Pokemon PI is one of them, but they're nowhere near where we're at. So, the kids want to do their own little team. Yeah, parents, we're doing our best to sponsor them. We eventually want to look at sponsorships, see if Ultra Pros want to go, but we want to make sure that, they're set in stone first before, they get their hopes super high. Right. Because, they're still young. They're still very impressionable. And we want to make sure that, our ducks in a row and we do it right with the kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool. Yeah. It's pretty cool that they came up with their own little Ultra Guardians, those two, and then the other kids want to join as well.
That's awesome, man. So then, okay, walk us through the process. They already qualified. They already got their points. Mm-hmm. When is London?
London, I believe it's August 14th.
August 14th.
So it's August 14th, 15th, and 16th. So if anything, we need to get there by Thursday to register. So that's when the events happen. So all the kids have until, I want to say it's the North America's National Championships is the very last chance you have to qualify for Worlds. Usually it's in Ohio. I can't remember, depending on what city it is. And then that day is the last day you can get any points. Any points that are earned afterwards will qualify most likely to the 2021 season.
Okay.
But we're never 100% sure until Pokemon releases something official for that. So the kids have plenty of times to still go to league challenges, league cups, or regional events to actually qualify for the points.
But you won't need to go to Ohio, right? Since you guys are already locked in.
Yeah, but we actually still want to go to that. We're going to use that as a marker to determine how good we think our kids are going to do in London and stuff. Because not all of us can afford the trip.
Right.
So as an example, my son's 6. There are a lot of kids who will be at World Championship, and they'll be their last year as a junior, and they're 10. But they've been playing as long as they started when they were 5 or 6.
Right.
So they're on the top of the division. And eventually my son's going to be there. But as of right now, he's on the bottom of the division. He'll be playing against kids who've been playing 4 or 5 years in the game. So, of course, they'll have the advantage. And so my previous thought was, I'm going to take my son. He might lose every match. I personally don't know. I'm hoping he does better than that. But he's probably not going to make the second day or qualify for a top 8. But, anything can happen. So we want to use Nats to see where we're at because originally I wanted to only go if he did well.
Right.
Now me and my wife have made the decision. Now, regardless how well we think he's well, we're going to take him. If he qualified, we made a promise that we were going to take him. This is the first year that World Championship is not in North America. Since the beginning, it's always been North America. This year, it's in London. And you know what? We're going to do our best not to break that promise. It's not a cheap trip. We're looking at $3,500 to $4,000. We're going to do our best to crowdfund that, get that going for him to go, because he earned it.
Right, of course.
But some of the other parents, some of the other kids are older than Eren. He's still the youngest kid that comes out to the Pokemon, who's still the other kids are like 8, 9, 10 years old, so they want to go to Nats. If they do really well, they're you know what, you qualified. We feel like you're going to do really well. Let's go that way. We're not spending a lot of money on nothing. I don't want to make that sound bad, but we are adults and finances are a pretty big thing.
Of course, yeah.
So we want to go there and have a good
budget
job.
that big. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's not something that you can just. Some people can. Some people can just go and just slide their credit card for that. But that's something that it's about 6 months away. August, I would say. Yeah. So. Even with 6 months, it's still going to take some time to, raise all that money.
So do you want to plug that in right now?
Oh,
talk about your. So you said you're going to come up with a GoFundMe, right?
Yeah. So GoFundMe crowdfunding. So actually, grandma. So my in-laws are working currently on getting a GoFundMe going, or some type of crowdfunding thing. They're musicians, so they're going to do a few concerts for it, bake sales. That way, we can fund that. I don't have a link for it right now, but hopefully within a week or two, I'll be able to hand you the link. And, anyone that wants to, assist with it, that'd be great. And if not, I totally get it,
Yeah, community, we gotta come together, guys. I mean, this is it right here. This is what we want. We want our kids to be able to experience something that we never could. Even us as adults now could probably never experience that. We're locked into our 9 to 5. So I will plug it in everywhere. I will plug it into all Instagram, Spotify, Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, everything. And I'll keep putting it out there. So, we can make this young man's dreams come true. It'd be so cool. We'll follow him with the podcast. We'll catch up with them in Santa Clara. And I'll catch up with Victor every so often to see how they're doing, guys. So let's come together and let's help them make this dream come true.
Thank you. That's pretty awesome right there. And we're very hopeful. We're super hopeful about that.
Yeah, it's a good community, man. Like, we'll make it happen.
The Pokemon community is one of the best communities that I've ever been into, and I recently got into the video game Pokemon community as well too. And I almost feel like they're even happier than the TCG players. They're actually a smaller community. Because less people play the video game competitively, but they are so welcoming. I actually ran my very first Pokemon Premier Challenge. So let me break it down. So I've been running Pokemon trading card game tournaments for official events where you qualify for points to go to the World Championships. I've been doing it for about 3.5 years now. But in all that time, I've never been able to get people who play the video game to come out, and it's very difficult. I always told people about it. We actually had a professor. His name was Robert Crocker. He was trying to get people out, but the problem was we'd get one, maybe two people to come out every weekend. They would see nobody show up, and I'd never see them again. And I get it, like, nobody wants to come out and play and like that. And and then another weekend one person shows up, and then eventually no one shows up anymore. And which is the sad part is like if those 6 people would have had somehow a chance to meet each other. That would be great. But the coolest part is I actually met up with a manager at GameStop. His name was Ryan. And I used to do. They did play Pokemon days. Okay, I'm not sure if you remember that, where they gave the jumbo packs. It was super cool. And I actually went up to him like, hey, you know what? I'm sure you would rather have me come out than pay for an employee. I want to volunteer my time because I was like, hey, as long as you let me tell him about my Pokemon League Legends, I'll do this for free. And he was like, oh, that sounds awesome. I brought out the lab coat. I did my whole cosplay thing. Nice. And it went great. And I did it for them 3 times. 3 times we did that. And I talked to him. And I was like, hey, you know how you always get me that room for the play days? Have you ever thought about doing a Pokemon League? You're like, can we do that? I'm like, let's talk to them all. There's an empty room next to you that hasn't been used in like 10 years that they always get. GameStop always rented out, which they always get for free if we can do that. And they end up talking to them all, and they're like, if you want it every Sunday, you can have it. And I was like, really? So we ended up starting a Pokemon League there that was TCG and video game based because I felt being next to a video game store, as popular as GameStop. I know some people have hate towards them, but we all go there. Right. And I personally love it. I still love going to GameStop. I get excited every time I walk in. And so as people started walking by, they saw an empty room with me and my son encouraging people to get in there. And, for a good month, I could maybe just a few people I couldn't get them to come out. Unfortunately, the mall traffic at Sierra Vista Mall wasn't super strong. And Sword and Shield came out, and I did this big old midnight release. I did a karaoke event. There was like a few hundred people lined up for it. I gave out plenty of pamphlets. And that following Sunday, no one still showed up. And I was heavily discouraged. I really thought that, I was like, come on, like, there was like a good over 100 people there. I just need like, give me like 1% of them, just like 1 to 10%. Like, I'd get 10 people. It was more than enough. And then nothing. And then one day I met this dad. His name was Manuel and Eren. They started coming out, and then I had like just less than 5 people. And as soon as people started walking by, they saw that I had a sign out. Oh, what are they doing? They're playing Pokemon. They're playing the video game, or they're playing the trading card game. All I needed was like 6 people in there. Now that is my biggest Pokemon League that I currently run. Like, which I love my One Night Legends. That's the longest one I've been running. But the one at the mall is now my biggest Pokemon League. Really? I get about a good 30 people per weekend now. And I get the video game and trading card game players to come out and play. And it's probably been about 2 weeks now. I got an email from Pokemon saying, hey, you are not qualified to run video game tournaments.
Oh, nice. And I was like, congratulations.
Dude, just getting that email, I looked at it, I'm like, because I put in applications before. But no one ever came to play the video game. So Pokemon. But I'm pretty sure they looked at my Pokemon League. They seen how many people were registered for the video game. And they're like, hey, congratulations. You can run these now. Unfortunately, this month I had to do it before the 23rd, so I had to do it last Sunday. So super last minute. But we have 23 players from like San Francisco, Modesto, LA that's coming out for this event. And for what they told me, not a lot of people play. There's not a lot. I think there's maybe 5 places in all of California now that run the video game event.
Really?
Yeah, and we can run it once a month. So if you want to be competitive in that game, you have to travel. You have to do your best to travel. And the cool part is Adam Higgins at Crazy Squirrel just got his too. And unfortunately, some of those players told me they won't be able to make his because if you're traveling from San Francisco, it's still not a cheap drive.
Right.
So I'm going to be talking with Adam. Hopefully he doesn't think that this is me going over him. I'll be talking to him very soon, so that way we can do a double weekend. So that way he can run one on Saturday and I can run one on Sunday. So it's a little bit more convenient for the players. Yeah, but no, running Sword and Shield was the coolest thing. I did have a few hiccups. My printer wasn't connecting. I used what's called Tom, which is a Tournament Operating Manager, which is the official Pokemon software. It crashed on me. It said no longer Java was there, and I was like, "Are you kidding?" I was nervous because I've never met the video game community. Like we had our people there, but they were all casual players. They just want to have fun.
Right.
But being able to get the competitive players, like a lot of my casuals didn't even show up that day because they were like, "We don't want to get stomped out." So I'm actually doing classes to teach them how to get more competitive in the video game. Yeah. Starting the following Sunday, actually. And, so they got a little scared. But, and I was worried too. I'm like, I don't know if this is a toxic type of community. I don't know if they're a very happy community. They came in. They were understanding what's going on. They gave me a few tips what's going on. They told me it was one of the best run events that they've been to. And they were incredibly thankful. Like, hey, I know you keep thanking us, but thank you for running this event. There's not enough people running the video game stuff, and when we saw that you popped up as a place that we can go to, like we were overly excited. We love that you're next to GameStop. We're happy that biggest thing, video game players hate booster packs as pricing. Oh yeah, a lot of places give out booster packs, and they're like, we don't play this game.
Yeah, what are we gonna do with this?
Yeah, but unfortunately, Pokemon doesn't have anything physical to give to video game players. So what we did, so that one was free. And I plan to give out GameStop gift cards. Okay. They'll be in charge, and they're like, that's perfect. We'll love gift cards, because then we can spend it on whatever we want to in a video game store, in a video game. And the cool part there, GameStop actually, one of the ASLs, I better not say her name just in case she gets in trouble, but she actually donated, like, out of her own pocket, $45 worth of gift card price support that day. And I was just ecstatic. I even told her, like, you know what? You don't have to do that. They're happy when you're like, no. You've been here for like 6 months, and it like you barely started popping like 3 months ago, and I am so excited for for this to be happening and for you to be making this happen at GameStop and at our store and everything like that. And she was just like, you're going to take these gift cards and you're going to give this away at prizes. And all the players were ecstatic. Like, hey, wait a minute, the tournament was free. Why are you giving us extra stuff? I'm like, you know what? Don't worry about that. Like we're taking care of you guys today. Take it. You guys had a long drive. I'm sure you guys want to walk away with something if you win the event.
And that's just going to make them want to come back.
Yeah.
Even if you start charging a fee, they know what it is. Yeah. They know, and then word of mouth's going to spread. They're going to bring revenue in for GameStop. GameStop's going to be like, hey, they're doing this. Oh shit, maybe we can fund them a little bit. Maybe we can kick something. Maybe we can sponsor it. And start growing into something big, man.
Yeah, one of the cool things I actually did, the GameStop actually, they actually, I think it was their district manager, his name was Adrian. I guess he gave us the okay that whatever I'm going to need for these events, the GameStop's one of the best. They actually gave me, I think it was called Goliath. It was this weird TV set where you can plug your PS4, Switch, whatever, and we actually used that for our streaming device. Okay. And they opened it up and everything for me, and so it was a completely sealed product. They opened it, and we actually had a crowd. And so we were in the room to the right of GameStop, and we had a crowd to the left because I was always streaming the top players over there. And you just saw players just run over there. How's James doing? How's so-and-so doing? And they were just watching the matches, and everyone was getting extremely excited. Oh, that's awesome. So we're already working that I'm going to have a bigger room next time, so that can easily hold at least 50 to 60 players because we had a good 25 there, and they told us, hey, just so you know, we came last minute. There's a bunch of people who didn't get a chance to go, so send us your date, and we'll bring everybody. They're like, you're going to have at least a 50-person tournament if we get this right. So I already told GameStop we need a bigger room. We're planning to stream the event. I'm not sure if we're going to do it on Twitch or Facebook with moderators who are going to be talking about what's going on. We already got the computer set up and everything like that. We just got to get a better camera, and we already have everything that we need to run an event. And we're hoping to do 2 streaming events. One that's showing how well the kids are doing, and one that's showing how well the adults are doing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and Pokemon actually has, because of the Switch, it's just so much more versatile than, using the computer. It's so much more powerful that there was like no connection issues or anything like that. And it was the way Pokemon set up for Sword and Shield to be done is just so nice, and that made the event that much better.
Yeah, smoother. Nice, man. Yeah, you gotta let me know when this is gonna happen. I'd love to go out there and do a podcast episode.
Yeah, it'd be great. It's gonna be sometime in March. I'm hoping somewhere mid-March or late March, but I will be sending you the date as soon as I find out, because I'm gonna be talking, of course, with Adam Higgins on a date that works for both of us. That way we can run a double premiere challenge weekend. So that way all the people who come out can spend the night here in Fresno and, go to the one the next day and then go home.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that way they can be planned a little bit better. Because me and him could have done better this month, but we were very short on time.
Right.
And so we're going to make sure we do our best to make that community happy as well. Like I said, we're all professors. There's a few different professors here. Trey Jackson is a great professor. I know he's been busy with life recently. Christopher Bilal is personally my favorite professor. He's been doing it for 10 to 11 years.
What is he doing, Adam?
He's doing it at Bullpen currently. So he's been doing it so long that the stores closed before the store closes. His league has run longer than almost every store that he's been in.
Oh, wow.
And so he has to move it as things goes on. But he's been the most consistent one. He's been running it the longest. Unfortunately, right now he's on a time constraint, so he doesn't get a big amount. But he does run it at Bullpen. 4 to 6 o'clock, he does free play as well. Okay. That's the only time slot he can have right now. Because, of course, he's an adult and we all got to work.
Yeah.
But if you have any question or anything like that, he's like the number one guy to ask anything for. He's been running it so long that, I go up to him from time to time and ask him, hey, can you help me with this?
Yeah,
and he'll do his best to do it.
Yeah, I definitely need to get your whatever you're going to get on that, your Twitch, your guys' Facebook. That way I can keep it updated, and that way when the event comes, we do the podcast episode and have everything plugged in beforehand. That way people are able to follow it too. I know the people are really big on Twitch, so they can watch it. Because I know a lot of people that do a lot of competitive play on SNS. So I'm pretty sure they'd be interested to catch that too. They post on their stories, hey, let's go raid, or add me, or let's do this. So it'd be interesting for them to see, hey, this is something that's going on there. What do we need to do to make it happen here? Who do we need to talk to? Who do we have to light a fire under?
Yeah, exactly.
And watch it grow. Watch it come, turn into something big.
Oh, yeah. We're trying to plan. Of course, this might not happen until April, but we're going to push it for the March one. When we do the video game, so anything I've done, I've always done big. So, as an example, for the trading card game, and I think you were part of it. When I used to run like 200 people pre-releases, or we used to run out the mall, we used to have that big old area, and we were just burning through boxes and stuff. So the VG, like a lot of people just play casually. What we want to do, we want to have a tournament area, and we also want to have a spectator area. So we're hoping to have a good area where we can teach people about what the game is. And during the event, of course, with the monitor, we're going to be streaming it. But we want to make sure we have plenty of seating for people who just want to sit there and watch, make it comfortable for our parents. And anybody walking in the mall will be more than welcome to come in and just sit down and watch people play. And hopefully that'll bring it up. I mean, I think that day 2 people bought Sword and Shield, their bundle packs while they were there because they were watching it, and their kids wanted to do it too. And the parents talked to me about it, and I'm like, that's great. Like, even if every time you run an event you get 1 to 2 people excited and to come and join, that's incredible. That sounds like a small number, but that adds up so quick.
Oh, definitely.
Just adding 46 people per month to your league, especially when it's video game related, your league's gonna get over. It's gonna get too big too quick, and that's a good problem to have. And I want that problem.
You bring in more people to help out, and it just keeps growing. We'll do it here, we'll do it there, boom. And it's a word of mouth. I'm pretty sure they have people that they play with. Hey man, come over. Let's do this thing.
That's a big thing that happened. Well, we have people. The kids. Hey, I'm gonna tell so he's my best friend. He's gonna come down. He's gonna try to play, and then he'll tell his friend, and then as we get going, we get a bigger league.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's super exciting. And I don't know if I'd love to sponsor with some of my merchandise too. I do, T-shirts and all that stuff, and I'd love to give you guys some stuff for prizes if you guys are willing to take it.
Oh yeah, that'd be super great. Anything extra that we can give to the players just makes it more rewarding for them. Man.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I got shirts, I got beanies, so I'd love to sponsor some stuff out so you guys could, make it a little bit more enticing and a little bit more bulky for them to take home and everything.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah, we'll definitely talk more, man. This is super exciting. Okay, so we're gonna have to catch up later, you and I, to have another episode on the mechanics of Sword and Shield. This is I'm glad that you were able to talk so passionately about everything you got going on. Like you and I, we talk, we chit chat, but we've never actually had a chance to sit down.
Yeah, of course.
And see what's going on.
Every time you come, I'm always overly busy. You've been through almost every pre-release I run. they're always huge. I'm always walking around, always helping. I always get new players that's their first event, and that's the first time they're playing Pokemon, which is a little rough on me because then I have to try to teach them the game while the event's going on, and they're playing veterans. And then I'm sure you've done it too. Can you look at my deck, Professor? Can you look at my deck, Professor?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I am Victor, but I would say 90% of the people at my leagues call me Professor Go Back, by the way.
Go Back?
Yeah, Professor Go Back.
Okay.
So, real quick, you know what Go Backs are at a grocery store, right?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. So, quick story. I got hired at Winco years ago when I was younger to do Go Backs. I was very good at it, and it became a full-time position. I took the name The Go Back Man, and then when I became a professor, everyone says, "Hey, you evolved. You need to change your name." So now I'm Professor Go Back.
Nice. That's awesome. I want to take that with me next time I go in there.
Yeah. So yeah, if you call me Professor Go Back, you'll see a big smile on my face. That just makes me happy.
What?
And all the kids do that too. Professor Go Back, Professor Go Back. It's so cool to watch all the kids because they love it. It's so much more fun than them saying Victor.
Yeah,
they'll either call me Professor or Professor Go Back, and it's great.
Yeah.
And you know what? Do it every time. I'm not gonna
It's like, hey man, I'm wearing the lab coat. Come on.
Yes.
That's great, man. Super pleasure having you. We're getting close to running out of time. So
are we actually at the hour point?
Yeah, dude, we're at 51 minutes right now.
Dude, we're not even like 10% of like all the Pokemon stuff that you need to learn. But let's go ahead and continue.
Yeah, I don't even know what I was gonna say. Yeah, okay. So again, we're gonna have to bring you back to talk about. I think we're gonna have like a couple of episodes with you on here because
as long as people are interested in it, and true, you can ask them too. If we do an next episode, have them submit questions. I'll be more than happy to answer any question that the best I can. I might even bring some other professors with me next time.
Oh yeah, that'd be
I'd
great.
be more than happy to bring them out.
Yeah, they have like a roundtable with. We can do like a live. Have people like live sending us questions and we can answer them for the podcast.
Oh, yeah. A big thing to think about the professor is, yes, we do have different leagues in different stores. The stores compete. We don't. We're giving, most of us do it voluntarily. Like at the Sierra Vista store, I'm there 5 hours of my day for free every Sunday. I'm not making anything off of it. Most of the professors, we just want to grow the community. So that's a big thing. We're not against each other. Some people have in the past tried to make it so, oh, no, you don't like, no, why are you making this up? No. We're all friendly. We do our best to make sure that, we do our personal best to grow the community. And I know you're doing the exact same thing. And recently, thanks to Adam Higgins, a big shout out to that guy. He's actually been doing his best to coordinate all of us to do that. And I remember someone was like, oh, Victor, Professor Go Back, he's mad because that guy's above him. I'm like, no, I'm more of a polka dad more than like, trying to become a big judge now. I take care of the kids. I'm happy with that. If he wants to coordinate, I'm totally down to follow and, do what we can to make this a great community.
Right. And that's the true aspect of Pokemon. Everybody coming together.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's great. It's great to have different sources and different people to talk to, different experiences. You're good with the kids. You might be better with more knowledgeable in the competitive aspect. And, it's nice that you guys all come together rather than like...
We work together. We have our groups on Facebook to make sure we're good. We're not like, I work at Crazy Squirrel, so don't go to his store. No, we don't do that. We promote each other.
Right.
And that's a big thing that's become in the last 3-4 months. We have all been promoting. Like one of the big things, Adam goes like, hey, when a new kid comes, he tells me too, and the parents tell me this too. I'm like, this might not be the right league for your kid. I know there's no other kids here. This is Professor Go Back's information. Talk to him. Go to his league. Your kid will have other kids to play with. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean he's not trying to grow it there. It just, the kids...
It's in the best benefit of the player, Because when somebody goes your way that's more in, like competitive, more willing, wanting to technical stuff, like, hey, you know what? I got these kids right now, but, go to Adam. Adam will help you out with all that stuff. So that's great. That's really nice. And yeah, I'd love to talk to those guys too and pick their brains and have different perspectives on being a professor and everything.
Okay. So I know we're low on time. So what did you want to go over?
You know what? We'll say, because I know that's gonna be like another hour, so we'll save that for another episode. This episode would just focus on the your contributions to being a professor, and it's what I wanted. I wanted to hear your experiences as a professor, and then I was just kind of pick aspects of it, like, what's it like setting up tournaments? What's it like, with the Sword and Shield? But you just pretty much gave me like everything about being a professor, and that's freaking awesome.
It's something I'm passionate about. It's kind of like I'm living my dream though. Like eventually, I'm gonna own my own card shop. Mm-hmm. I'm not like, one day I want to. One day I will have my own card shop. I'll be able to run things the way I want to. I'm gonna actually be a Pokemon based card shop. Most card shops are MTG, mm-hmm. Magic the Gathering. Most of you should know that.
Yeah.
Or base stores. It's like one of the biggest money ones. That's fine. I don't care if I don't profit a lot off the store. As long as I can make a decent living off of it, I don't have to become ever rich. I'll be working in that card shop. My wife went out, she got her master's degree. I used to work 96 hours a week. I'm not even sure how I pulled that out. I did that for like 2 years so my wife couldn't get her degree. Now she has her job. Now she's making real checks. We're still catching up on debt and stuff. But my wife was totally for the fact that if I just own my own card shop one day, once the kids are both full-time in school, she's happy with that. And I can run it the way I want to. As long as the store can self-sustain and give us a little bit of extra money on top of that, that's fine. And I want to have my store as a central Pokemon store. Now, will I run other card games? Of course. But it will be a based, Pokemon place.
Right.
And I think that'd be great because,
that would be great.
store does that.
I was going to say, I don't think I've ever seen a store that's like just Pokemon.
Yeah, it's geared towards it. So, like, if you go to an MTG store, they still have, what we might do in a Pokemon event, but they're geared towards doing Magic the Gathering.
Of course, yeah.
I want to be geared towards Pokemon
Yeah.
players. I want to be able to do all the cool, crazy stuff. Have days for Master players, have days for Junior players, mix them up, do some fun formats. Like, you can only bring your theme deck. That'd be super cool. One of the ones that Adam Higgins runs Level Ball. I'm sure you remember Level Ball.
Yeah.
You get into 90 HP Pokemon. I don't know if he's the one who created it or not, but you can only play Pokemon that have 90 or less HP. And so you have to build a cool deck or something like that.
That sounds cool. Yeah, and that's awesome. That's something you don't see.
Yeah.
That's something that's not. And if it's out there, where is it? Let us see it.
And I want to do that. I think that'd be something great for the players. And the last one, I know I've mentioned Adam Higgins a lot. He's a cool guy, though. So if you get a chance to, say hi to him, tell him Victor said what up.
We definitely need to have an episode for him.
Yeah, he does proxy tournaments, too, for old formats. So Pokemon's been around for a long time. Some people like playing some of their old cards. So he'll do a format where it's like the Pokemon format 2010, 2011. And you can print out all the cards you want if you want to, and people can play that, so we can experience old stuff. That was one of the coolest things that I think he did. I just want to mention that. It was so cool. Like, everyone was excited.
Yeah, of course.
We went to limitlesstcg.com where you can print like actual size proxies. Best proxies you can get, by the way. Go there. People were looking at what the best decks were back then. People were making up their own thing. I was like, I won't lie, I was jealous. Like, man, what's I thought of that?
And that was a topic of conversation a couple of podcasts back. Like, it sucks when things go out of rotation and they're gone forever. Like, nobody plays it.
Yeah.
I mean, you can play a game in your living room with a friend, but outside of that, like, who's gonna build an expanded deck with Black and White or with Sky Ridge or base set? So that's a really awesome idea.
As things get stronger, as things come on, some of the old decks, they're just not viable. But when he decided to do one, like, you can only play the set that was legal during those years. But everyone's like, well, we don't own the cards. Print them. That's fine. Everyone was like, it was so cool. I was just
Is he still doing that?
I think they have to walk away from that just for a little while because we've been doing so many league challenges that we just don't have the time for it. But I believe when summertime comes around, we're like all the leagues are going to be trying to do some, not necessarily that format, but we're going to be trying to bring out different formats to appease different types of players.
Right. Yeah. Different ideas and everything. So awesome, man. I'm excited for summer. Yeah. Because that sounds like something fun. Go out there and just build like an all-fire deck or something.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I'm going to love it.
Yeah, it's going to be fun, man. So, okay, let's do the Pokemon X and Y. Let me close everything here. So, in this segment, we choose a Pokemon. And let's do... We haven't done Sun and... what is it?
Sword and Shield.
Sword and Shield yet. So, how many Pokemon is in Sword and Shield?
Well, I don't know how many... I don't remember how many came out. I know for the Galar number, there's about... almost 400. We did just have Pokemon Home, so you can transfer new Pokemon there. My wife made her buy the premium version of that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, she'll get what I'm trying. She asked me. She knows she's gonna get it.
But it's not like whatever 800 and
no. So
it's like one.
We didn't get the National Pokedex, so that was a big deal that a lot of people were mad at. I'm sure you heard about that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But that was a big bust.
That was a pretty big bust. But
it's coming, guys. It's Pokemon. They're not going to
come. They won't let you down. But a big thing to remember is they're trying to make the game as great as can, and it's not like. I guarantee people were complaining about that. I bet you can't name half of the Pokemon anyway.
Yeah,
and a lot of people tell me that. I'm like, and some of them you never cared for. It made it a little easier, a little bit more accessible. Makes it better on the competitive scene for us, by the way, because you have to make sure your team is legal, what's going on with it, all the different. So it makes made that a lot
keep
easier.
Track of 807 Pokemon. Like, oh no. Okay, here we go. I'm on the list right now. So the list is 400. Oh god, this is with the new Pokedex. Whatever. Okay, so I'll plug in 400 and I'll randomize a number, and then whatever.
We'll look at the Galar Pokemon.
If it's not a Galar Pokemon, we'll choose another one. So let me open up a random. Here we go. Random number generator. Okay, what do you say? 400.
Yeah, it's up to 400.
1 through 400.
Now, are you using National Pokedex or are you using the Galar Pokedex?
I opened one up. It's 400. So I'm pretty sure that has the National Pokedex in it. So if it's not a Galar, we'll just regenerate it.
The Galars I think will be 700 plus.
Okay, this is gonna be our third attempt to record this segment since it bugged out last time. 870 Phalanx.
So, the first time I saw Phalanx, my wife was actually catching it. And I was like, what is that right there? She was like, oh, it says the name is Phalanx. And I checked it out. I'm like, oh my God, that reminds me of Wiggler from Super Mario. I'm like, if you catch it, I don't know, because I have a shield and she has sword.
Okay.
And I'm like, I don't know if that's an exclusive or not, but you catch the second one and you're going to have to send that to me.
I want it.
Dude, it looks so cool. And then while you're like watching this animation, it kind of breaks apart a little bit and then goes back together. And I was like, oh my God, like, I love that Pokemon. I gotta have it. I gotta have it.
And they all got cool little helmets, so that's pretty dope. All little soldiers and everything.
Yeah, so it fits in like really well with the whole Sword and Shield aspect of the game, right?
It's super cool. And it messed up, and we had to record this for a third time. So, but we're still excited about it.
No, I'm just happy looking at it. Actually, I wonder what his shiny version. I wonder if his shiny is red because he's normally yellow. I would think it would be hilarious if he was shiny, he was red, just to give a better reference to Superman.
It kind of is a little bit.
Oh my goodness, it's kind of red.
It's like a little burgundy.
So 100%, you gotta have a regular Wiggler, and you have to have
the Mario version.
And that is so cool. That is cool. So that is definitely an X Pokemon. Yeah, right? X means we're happy with it, right?
X is happy. Why did they make it? Yeah.
Why did they make it? Okay, that makes sense. Yes.
Awesome. All right, Victor. Once again, thanks for being on. Super excited to have you. It was such a good conversation. A lot more information that I thought I needed. Well, that I didn't know that I needed because I don't know what goes on behind doors with the professor. So it's really good to have you. Super excited about your son. We wish you the best of luck, and we're gonna plug the crap out of that link so we can do our part and help out as much as we can, man.
Thank you. We really do appreciate that. My family wants to, get my son up there, get him playing.
Yeah,
he's
cool.
excited. He wants
really
to
awesome to follow him and see his growth and everything. And
yes.
We'll go out and meet you up in Santa Clara. Talk to you again. Talk to the kids out there. Talk to some more competitive players out there. We'll have the other professors on for another show, and maybe if we get around to it, we'll cover the mechanics of what is it?
The
Shield and Sword.
Sword and Shield.
I'm never gonna.
So for the trading card game and the video game.
Yeah.
Just a heads up. There were new rules that were implemented on this one too. You can't even play a supporter turn 1 now.
That's right.
If you go first, you cannot play a supporter.
I remember
putting that out there for anyone that plays the TCG. I forgot that starts February 21st. February 21st, Sword and Shield is legal. That rule is now legal. If you go first, you cannot play a supporter.
Okay, yeah. You guys
remember that.
February 21st.
We will penalize you. We will penalize you.
All right, Vic. So let's go ahead and give our sign off. I'll go first. Let's see if I can get it right this time. May your codes be white
and your pools be gold.
Catch you guys next time.
Bye.